I'm Clinton Griffiths. Happening later today, we'll get an update on how corn and soybeans are faring this summer. And while conditions have continued to improve since the start of the growing season, farmers are reporting some problems starting to pop up. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us. Michelle, does this have anything to do with the early start this year to the growing season?
Clinton, it seems to be at least part of the issue. In years with early planting and high yield potential, there's also increased risk for disease and other production issues. Now, while it seemed to be a nearly ideal season, we're already seeing pollination problems in corn and early disease pressure in both corn and soybeans, which could cut USDA's near to record corn and soybean crop projections. Some chinks in the armor are showing up in the 2025 corn and soybean crop. Early planting and excessively wet conditions are leading to early disease pressure in corn, including in Iowa.
We actually are seeing a lot of southern rust showing up in Iowa already. So that is the one thing that I'm probably the most nervous about. I think we found it in 6 or 7 counties now.
Mueller says the levels are low, but it's 10 days earlier than normal and the spores multiply quickly.
It sort of likes that heat, and we don't have good levels of resistance, and so it can move very, very quickly through cornfields.
Left unchecked, southern rust can cut corn yields.
Get out and scout and really be judicious about, fungicides, make sure we steward these products. We don't have a lot of them.
Farmers in Iowa, but also Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri are also reporting pollination issues tied to overly tight tassels in corn planted from April 14th to the 17th.
I believe it's geared to some type of stress during the rapid growth. So we saw these wrapped up whorls pretty tight early in the season, and they stuck with us through pollination. And the same varieties planted a week later seem to be okay.
He says it's hard to determine how widespread the problem is, but it's big hitter hybrids.
They just didn't have enough pollen on that first 4 or 5 days of setting it. Now, a lot of them did get pollinated, but they're white blister while the rest of the kernels are milk, and that's too far apart. You'll lose those white blister kernels. They'll abort.
Farmers should scout fields taking random samples and do kernel counts.
By the time you get done doing your numbering, 20% of the kernels didn't make it. You probably gave up 15% of the yield.
And unfortunately, Ferry says there's no agronomic solutions.
Nothing we can do right now other than adjust our marketing strategies and to think about, are we going to double spray fungicide or not on a crop that's been dinged?
Soybean diseases also associated with high yields are emerging ahead of normal in Iowa due to wet conditions and early planting.
I'd say the 2 major soybean diseases that we deal with in Iowa is sudden dust syndrome and white mold. And we've now spotted both of them in mid-July, so about a month earlier than we want.
So far it's isolated, but farmers should be scouting fields for the diseases. SDS has characteristic yellowing in the veins of the leaf and the top of the plant, and there's no rescue treatment. White mold can be treated and shows up with dead plants and white fungus in the lower canopy.
If you see that white, it's called mycelia, the fungal growth. That's a telltale sign that you have white mold. So pick a good fungicide and try to get it out there. You can spray all the way up to R3 and still get some money back on your fungicide.
I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.